Here we go. Today, our class will go according to the uh, following agenda. As you see, first thing, I'll speak generally about the process of writing. Then, I'll go and focus more on the IGCSE-OL ESL writing. And it's related to the process of writing. We must explain the process of writing because, after all, when we are writing for the IGCSE, we are using the main rules of general writing, whether the types and so on. And you will see how they are close, they are built on each other, but with some specifications for the IGCSE. But after all, it's writing, which it's a kind of a skill. So it depends on two things. It depends on knowledge, and at the same time, it needs practicing. When we need to know the rules, as well as we need to practice using the rules. Knowing the rules alone will never help us to score high, and practicing makes it happen, makes it done in the exams, and so we can get the right mark or the score we are targeting. The next thing we are gonna talk about is gonna be how you should work for your target score. What should you do to get the score you are targeting or you wanna get, whether it's A star or any other score you are willing to have. Our last thing is my role in case you will be with me in the group. I'll tell you exactly what will happen, because actually the demo class is completely different, or to a big extent is different from the actual classes. In the actual classes, I don't talk that much, but because it's a demo class, I'm presenting the whole perspective of the section of the IGCSE. Why we start with the writing? Because people always face their biggest problems with writing or in writing. They think that they have done something good in writing, but when they receive the marks, they are surprised. How come I got this mark? Why I didn't get this mark? And so on. I'll explain everything. And as I said, we need to know the rules. At the same time, we need to practice them. We need to know what we should do and then start trying to put it into practice and try to produce something that we are proud of, that we are really satisfied that that thing can be the target of the examiner who's gonna check our papers. Okay, after I'll finish our discussion, or after I finish my presentation, I'll answer all the questions you may like to write in the chat, and all your questions are most welcome. Now we will go to the first point, which is the process of writing. Writing is not just I hold my pen and I start jotting down some words. No, it has its steps. And maybe holding the pen and writing down is the easiest part of the writing. It has many things to be done before holding the pen and starting writing, and many other things after we think that we are done with the writing. The first step, which is really important, is to read the question carefully and try to find the target of the question. And I'll explain this, of course, in details. The second point is planning, and we will speak about planning. Planning is not just to decide what I'll do. No, it's more than this. Again, we have a third step, which is write your first draft, which actually I like to call draft. Okay, no one can write his final response from the first time. Always, whenever we write, we make mistakes, and when we read what we have written, we find out that we could have done this, we could have done that to make our writing better. And here comes the following step, which is really, really, really important, and it affects our mark greatly. If you didn't proofread your writing, don't expect a high mark to be got. Okay, so out of all these steps, yes, number one is very important, to know exactly what you should write about, and I'll explain it, as I said, in details. Planning also is important. Writing your first draft can be important, but not as much as the other parts. And the last, very crucial, very essential thing is proofreading your writing and seeing what you have done, to judge it before someone judge it for you. You will find out once you finish writing and you go and try to go over the piece of writing you have done, you will find out that, yeah, how come I have done this mistake? I have done this mistake, how come? Okay, I forgot here to put a full stop, and things like that. All these things are important. Again, proofreading is essential for any good mark, or for any student to get an excellent mark or to get an A star. Okay, now we will go and see every step. Recognizing the target of the question and find the specific answer. This means what? There are different kinds of writings, and every writing has its strategy and its way on writing. For example, the first item appeared here, writing a summary, which we all meet in the fourth question in paper 2. Okay, this question is summary writing. Summary writing is different from writing an email, different from writing a report, an article. It's completely different. And it has many specifications. Anyhow, I won't go that deep with the specifications of summary writing until we meet it in a specific section of our meeting today, but still it's different. Are there any other kinds of writings? Yes, there are. We have narrative, and here we have to decide many things. Should I go and organize? How will I organize my answer? We will see. And expository writing, and then we have the persuasive writing and expressive writing. Every kind of these writing has its own specifications. I can't go and write them all like each other, and I'll explain. Okay, then we have a response to literature. This can be like, if it may not be clear enough, but I'd like to say that response to literature is when you are asked to write a book review or a review for a movie you have watched, or a movie you liked. Okay, this can be a response to literature. So it's not all writing. No, there are many different kinds of writings, and every specific type of writing needs a specific type of organization, of production, of dealing with the situation. Okay, let's see the next point. Okay, again, I'll welcome all the, yeah, your question, please. I'm listening. Okay, I prefer that we discuss all the answers together after we finish the whole presentation. So let's move to the next point, which is planning. Planning is very important. Before you hold your pen and after reading your question carefully and deciding on what response is expected from you, I'd like you to go to the planning. What should I plan? Okay, first of all, consider your purpose. Why you are writing this? Are you writing it as an email to someone, to inform someone about something? Or you are writing to persuade someone to do something? Or you are summarizing an event or a situation? And the tone, of course, audience and tone are very important. When I write an email to a friend, my language must be different from writing an email to a professor or a teacher or a school administration or my boss at work. Yes, the audience is very important. It judges, or it controls, or it decides the language I am expected to do while writing. Whenever I write, I have to put in mind my audience. My audience, is it someone higher than me or just a friend? Of course, when you are writing to a friend, your tone can be sarcastic, can be kidding. You can go the way you like. And here again, when you are writing to your friend, you can use many colloquial expressions or informal English language. And it's recommended even to use informal language. But when you are writing for someone higher than you, of course, everything must be different. And we will speak about how to make the difference, how to make your writing show the reader or that teacher who examines your paper, who checks your paper, he will see that, yes, you are a person who understands that writing is not just jotting down some words next to each other and submitting the paper to the examiner. Of course, it's not this. Then write what is appropriate for the audience and the subject. Yes, focus on the audience and the subject. It's just explanation for the first point. Next thing, choose the point of view. Yes, this is very important. Many times while reading my students' work, I see that he is speaking from the first person point of view. He speaks, I'd prefer to go, I'd like to do, and he speaks using I, and we, and so on. Suddenly, he speaks using you or third person. If someone went to this place, he will say, how come? You must be careful that you choose a specific point of view and focus on it. Don't shift from one point of view to another, from this one to another, and so on. I can make it third person, and I say, any person or everybody who visits this place will find blah, blah, blah. But later, I will not go and say I or you. No, I must choose the point of view I'm going to decide and work on. Okay? Now, the next point, which is the order and the organization. Yes. What kind of order? Be careful that organizing your essay is a must for an A star. It's very important to have well-built essay. It's important, okay? You must know how to make it look organized. Paragraphing is important, but of course, it's not in all questions. Some questions, we write only one paragraph. Some other questions, we need to write 4 or 5 or whatever. But it won't be more than 4 paragraphs because of the word limit. Be careful about the organization, and you have to decide this before you start. I'll organize it chronologically. I'll speak about time, what happened first, second, and so on. Or I'll use the logical organization, which means what? Which means I'll start with the important things and go step by step to the least important thing. Or spatial. Spatial means from space. You will use, for example, you will describe a place you have visited, and you start when we first entered. You will find on your right-hand side, and then you move and speak what's after this, after that, and so on. You will speak describing the place. So you will be choosing one of these kinds of organization, whether chronological, whether logical, or spatial. This is very important. You see how many things you have to decide before writing. If you do this, you will be able to score the score you are aiming at. And still, it's a matter of practicing. It looks lots of things to be done. Once you started practicing them and doing this, you will find that everything comes spontaneously or without any difficulty. The next point here is decide what will be in the introduction body and conclusion. Yes, your introduction must be inviting the reader to read. Okay, it must include hints to what will come in the body, paragraphs or paragraph. Also, the conclusion. Don't speak too much in the introduction. Don't reveal everything in the introduction. You have to put in mind that this introduction must be very well built, very well chosen and organized. Every word, every structure. You will never hint anything in the introduction which is not discussed in the body. And of course, the body is your excellent chance to show your language, to show your abilities. You must use different kinds of structures. You must use different kinds of sentences. You show them simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. All these are important, and they all come in the body, and even they can be in the introduction or conclusion, but mainly they come in the body. Of course, we will know, or during practicing, you will know how to make an excellent building for your paragraphs, whether introductory, body, or conclusion, and to be impressive on your reader, so he gives you the mark. Okay, the next point is write your first draft. You say, I didn't put much things on this. Write your first draft. And this thing is very important. Always we will say what? Once a person, a great writer, was asked, how can I write an excellent story? You know what he answered? He said, write a bad story and then work on it to make it excellent. Yes, when you are writing your draft, you need to focus. Excellent. Don't waste your time, but put things down. You are just trying to put a plan. You will write the draft, okay, quickly, okay. By time, it will be something spontaneous. It will not take you much time. And after you finish your first draft, you will come to the biggest problem, to the biggest effect, or the biggest influence that will judge your writing. You will go to proofreading. Proofreading, here is the problem. Here you find your mistakes and you correct it. No one can ever write something and submit it directly without proofreading it and say, I'm sure that I have done something excellent. This never happens. Even with greater or great writers, they have to proofread what they have done. They have to go and find how they have written everything. Once you have finished writing something, you will see that some of these mistakes, you will find mistakes and say, how come I did or I made these mistakes? Okay, proofreading is not just one thing. You will have to check many things. Number one, coherence and cohesion means what? Again, we are back to organization. You must show me that every part of your essay is related, or of your writing, even it's one paragraph. Every part must be related to the other parts. It must be well woven, okay? And you have to be very careful and concise, okay? Why you need to be concise? Because nobody is ready to waste his time reading with something which is not related to the point. No, every word you write, you have to know why you have written it and how to link it, relate it to the purpose of your writing, for your essay or paragraph. Also, clarity. Don't expect others to understand what you can't express. They judge what you have written, so you must be clear. And the clear is different from simple. Clear and use a high level of language. Don't be clear and say, I'll go and write something very simple so everyone can go and understand it. No, you can use advanced level of English. At the same time, you will be able to make others understand you. Now, the range. Okay, range of your language is important. While you are proofreading what you have written, please remember this picture I have put here. This picture shows what's called the CEFR, or the common reference, the common reference levels of the English language. Okay, and if you look at these levels, they start. I like this picture actually because it shows how they are related. There are levels of the language, and start from A1. A1 is the level of words and maybe scattered information. I want you to go to the C2 to score the A star. How come? You will judge everything. You will read that you have written, for example, the word writer. The second time you repeated writer. No, go and write a word like an author, which is very important. All these things are important when the reader, when the teacher checks and tries to judge your mark. Check the range of your vocab. check the range of your grammar. Yes, there is no grammar section in the English examination, but still it's tested in your writing. They show how much you master your grammar and how much you use it in your writing. Yes, try to use high level of grammar, high level of vocab, high level of sentence structure, which is very important. Remember, there are words for A1 and there are words for C2. How come you will know that this word will be judged or appreciated highly by your teacher or by your examiner? Just look for the words which are not very common. You don't use it that much, and be careful. It is important to choose the word that you use correctly. Don't try to take a difficult word and at the same time you are not sure of how you are using it. Then you go to check many other things like fragments and run-ons. We always do these things, fragments and run-ons, like these things that you will see here. You write a sentence like this: because I have no money, and you leave it. No, this doesn't have. This will cause you problems in your mark. It doesn't. It's not a sentence, so you have to correct it and complete it. You can link it to the sentence before it or after it, and write it the right way. Because if you go and tell someone, because I have no money, he will not understand anything. Another thing is the run-ons. If you look at this sentence, you will see it's one sentence. I studied for my math exams for 6 hours, comma, I still didn't pass. Actually, comma here makes it a problem. It makes it what we call run-on sentence. Here we shouldn't put a comma. A comma comes before a word of the correlative, okay, correlative conjunctions, which are words like and, or, so, but, yet, for, okay. All these words should be preceded by a comma. But if you want to put the right mark here, you should put a semicolon, not a comma. So when you go and try to proofread your writing, please make sure that you haven't made any problems with fragments and run-on sentences. It can be out of being in a hurry you make these mistakes. Let's continue. Correct modifier usage. Yes, sometimes you say the students went to the supermarket to pick his new candy or something like that. Okay, no, you have to choose the right modifier. When you use someone or somebody, okay, with what should I say? Should I say he? Should I say she? Should I say they? Of course, you all know that when I use a word like everyone, I say his or her. Yes, some people tolerate using everyone, they, as a pronoun to refer to everyone, but actually this will not take you to the A star. A star needs you to be very advanced in your writing. Then you correct the verb usage. Yes, sometimes we use the wrong verb in the wrong place or the wrong form of the verb. Then we go to correct pronouns. Then we can check or proofread. Let me take this away. Yes, we can proofread for punctuation. It's very important. Punctuation is very important, and it causes lots of troubles for many students and takes their marks down. Then we have to check for another thing, which is a spelling. Never risk writing a word that you are not sure of its spelling. It's a big problem. Okay, they may tolerate some of the spelling mistakes even for the A star, but why should I do this? Okay, I must be sure of everything I do in my exam paper so I can get the best mark. This was just proofreading. You see how many things I find out? You see how I can take my mark to a completely different level or completely different mark? Okay, every one of these things is penalized. Every one of these, if you didn't correct, it will cause you to lose some of your marks. And this is what you don't like to have. So as you see, I didn't cast much light on writing your first draft, but actually planning is more important. And more important, much more important, is proofreading your writing. Now we will go to see something related to the writing of IGCSE or ESL writing, to be very specific actually. Many of you or all of you know that we have 3 questions for writing in the IGCSE ESL, okay? The first question is question 4, and actually it has 60 marks. 8 marks for the reading and 8 marks for the writing. How come? Let's have a look at this. Okay, this is just my first example to you all. It's exercise 4. You need to write a summary, 100 words, and it has 16 marks. If I write the summary, how come? I must understand the text, and of course I must express it the right way. The question, if you can see it here, the question simply is written here. I think it's clear for you all. It says, read the following article about the use of artificial light at nighttime. Write a summary about the negative aspects of light pollution in our world. Your summary should be about 100 words long and no more than 120 words long. You should use your own words as far as possible. Excuse me, Zoom may stop the meeting, okay? In case Zoom stopped our meeting, I rejoin directly after it stops the meeting, and then you all can rejoin directly. I'll be there because we may need some more time to discuss your responses. In case Zoom stop the meeting, we will rejoin again. I hope you all stay with me until the last minute of the presentation because it's the most important one. Now we will speak about example, which is exercise 4. First of all, it's writing a summary, and we have read this. Reading the question is the first step towards your start. Don't rush. Don't rush on reading. Look, write a summary about negative aspects of light pollution in our world. Be careful. Negative aspects only. Maybe there are some positive aspects in the text. You don't have anything to do with it. You need to focus on the negative aspects. And is it on specific species? No, in our world in general. That's excellent. So I know what I am looking for and I know what to do. Okay, here is a very important piece of information also. No more than 120 words. Why should I write more than 120 words? I'm sure that they will not read more than 120 words. So it will be a waste of your time and your effort if you try to risk and write more than 120 words. This is a waste of your time and effort. Focus, try to be between 100 and 120. Never try to write less than 100 words because it's dangerous. It will affect your mark. At the same time, never try to exceed your 120 words because it will be a waste of your effort. And again, it's the summary is 100 words. A very important thing about writing a summary is, number one, it's 100 words. So one paragraph is enough. It's one paragraph. Okay? At the same time, it doesn't have introduction or conclusion. We don't have to put an introduction or conclusion to say that we have done a good summary. But the first step towards writing an excellent summary is deciding what he wants us actually to focus on, which is here negative aspects of light pollution. Once you read this, go directly to the text. I have got this picture of the text here. I hope you all can see it. Now, it's your turn to start work. Work for what? The first thing is to start reading or skimming or scanning, which is even better, to scan the whole text. looking for everything, for every expression related to bad effects. This is the keyword on the world. So you need to go and underline them quickly. You underline everything related to the point you are looking for. Don't think that there must be something in every paragraph. There may be 1 or 2 paragraphs or even 3 that don't have anything to do with the point you are going to summarize or to talk about. So in this case, don't say, how come I leave these 2 or 3 paragraphs without taking anything? Yes, leave them. Don't take anything from them. Be to the point. Be concise. So you know exactly what you are looking for. Underline every point, everything related to your topic, okay? But be careful not to include anything which doesn't relate to the main point. Okay, because of time, I don't like to keep. I know, Yani, you need to go and read this, okay? But because of time, I don't like to have or to keep you waiting for a long time. Okay, let's see this. Yes, if you look here, I have highlighted the points that are related to the point we are looking for. I didn't take anything from paragraph 1, no problem. It's not a big deal. It's good, it's the right thing to do because paragraph 1 doesn't have anything to do with my point. It doesn't have to do with the bad effects of light on the world in general. Look here, everything I have taken is related. Disturbs human and natural life. Yes. Unable to control the light that invades our homes. Yes. Hazy sky. And we have never enjoyed the wonderful sight of a clear night sky full of beautiful stars. We have confused and harmed many creatures. Sea turtles, what happened to them? Okay, find fewer and fewer suitable places. Another thing here, birds now sing at unusual hours. And everything, every single point I have highlighted here. For your own knowledge, for this question number 3, you need to find at least 7 points. And be careful. Writing an excellent summary has its own tactics. It's not just I'll go and sum up everything. No.
Excuse me, mister.
Okay, I'll listen to you, but please keep the questions until the end. Welcome.
Okay.
Ask your question.
Mister, why you highlight these important points?
Yes, I'm speaking about summarizing. And I don't need to take everything. I need to know what I'll take exactly from the text. If you read the first paragraph, you will find that it is not related at all to the bad effect of light on the world. So I took these things. Now, the second step, after I highlight them, I focus on them and try to put them in the right order. As I said before, you can put them in logical order, you can put them in chronological order, you can put them in special order. And actually for this text, because it's a scientific text, you can put it in logical order. And you need to organize the different points. If there are some points related to humans, keep them together. If there are some points related to natural life and birds and animals, put them together. Your reader must see this. You don't have to rewrite the whole thing with the same order it appeared in the text. No, this is not summarizing. You can go and put it in the right order you like. And this is important to do. And you will be rewarded extra marks for this. Now, after you put them, for example, you can use your pencil to write here, this will be number 3, and this will be number 1, and this will be number 6, whatever. You will put any order you like, okay? But be careful, it's not out of nothing. Your organization depends on a reason. You choose to speak about this because you will take the negative effects of extra lights during nights on everything. Or You will, and then you will speak about extra light during nights and extra light during the day and so on. Or you will speak about humans in one section, and then you speak about non-humans in another section. Organization is very important. After you decide what you will write about, after you decide the organization, now start trying to produce the sentences your own way. And be careful, be sure, try to avoid, okay, every word mentioned in the text. Sorry. Try not to use the words given in the text. Everything. For example, human, you can say man race. Okay, okay. And instead of saying natural life, you can say wild life or the wild. Use any expression which is not mentioned in the text. This is the most important thing in summarizing. Organization is important. Focusing on your target is important. And paraphrasing, if you like to call, paraphrasing or writing in different words is very important. Every word has many synonyms. You need to go after every word and try to change it. Okay? If not, you can use some. You can use some, and you will notice this whenever you hold the mark scheme. How much did he take from the text? How much did he copy from the text? And this affects your mark. So you will focus on organization. You will focus on, first of all, you will focus on choosing the points which are related to your summary. Then you will organize